Hello everyone, CrystalFissure here, and we are finally here with Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time.
Crash Bandicoot, you banished me to the past. But all it did was give me more time to plan your doom.
How many times have you beaten this clown anyway?
3.
Really? Only 3? Funny. Seemed like more.
Okay guys, did we just watch one of the greatest 1 minute 20 or so trailers of all time? Because I'm just gonna go ahead and say that yes, we actually did. This is truly one of the greatest trailers I have ever seen. There is so much to unpack to the point where I will not unpack all of it right now because I know that we've got some stuff coming from other media outlets. Firstly, I just want to say a big thank you for Activision for providing this footage to me early, so I got to have a look at it and drop it on the embargo. So I've had a few hours to check all this out and just really just take all of it in. Like I cannot fathom how damn good this trailer is, but not just the trailer itself, but rather just everything going on. There is so much to unpack. As I said, we've got all these different showcases of these nice new worlds. Obviously we have a bit of a story breakdown as well, what it seems like the story is about. Obviously it's directly continuing on from Crash 3, but then of course, as you see coming up in that final stinger, a very, very interesting reference to, of course, Crash Bandicoot having more than 3 times he's defeated Cortex, that's for sure. There are 7 major canonical Crash Bandicoot games. Of course, the final one was My Never Mutant. And people probably wondering, well, what happened to that? What happened to My Never Mutant? Is that canon gonna matter? I genuinely believe that yes, it will, in a very interesting way. Not in a this is the main timeline way, but in that may have happened some other time, quote unquote. Anyway, let's have a look at this in a bit more detail. I'm literally just gonna watch this over and over again and pick things apart. We obviously have here, look at that enemy design. Look at some of these worlds. Like, I don't even know where to begin. I'm watching this in half speed, by the way. By the way, it's in half speed. Notice it's in 30 frames, which means this game is going to be 60 FPS. That's the first thing. Of course, we have a classic Crash running on the beach in the background. Looks like a sort of almost a reimagined, I was going to say Sunny Beach, but Insanity Beach. We have a nice jungle level, of course, very familiar and comfortable. We have the return of the jet board, looking fantastic. This is exactly, okay. The thing is, we've got these new powers and these old, returning things. This is going to be a love letter to the series. We thought the Beanox was doing a love letter to the series, which they did. This is going to be even more significant, I believe, in terms of the lore and the way that the levels are designed and stuff like that. You can see the classic platforming. There are skins now available in the game. This futuristic level and that kind of stack, that underwater, it's genuinely too much to even think about. It's too much to even talk about. I keep saying that. I want to sit down and do like a 10-hour, diagnosis on everything I've seen because there's just so much. Cortex gameplay just casually revealed here, by the way, which you can use his Morpho Ray or whatever it even is. Coco, of course, a main playable character. whether she's a character in her levels or not. Like, can you play as both, like, or are they separate levels, you know, but with different, you know, are they split up, that kind of thing, or well, actually, you know, they're not split up the whole time. Engine, of course, and a new boss kind of type. This seems like interesting. It almost looks like something out of Guitar Hero. Then we have like and the other thing I was sort of wanted to talk about too is that I actually get these distinct Ratchet and Clank vibes from some of the gameplay. Not obviously, like, not entirely, because you're thinking, okay, you know, Ratchet and Clank is very much, you know, gun based, but just the rail grinding, that kind of stuff, like, I don't know, just gives me this real Ratchet and Clank vibe. I am just so excited. We have these different boss fights we're seeing, these really creative enemies, and something about it, like, it feels like Toys for Bob. Like, obviously Toys for Bob have a particular style, but it feels so much like Crash as well, like Crash in Another World, you know, which, I mean, literally that seems like what the plot is actually going to be, but it just feels like it's that looks like Crash, like that enemy there, sorry, that mask, that literally looks like something that would be in the original games. You know, that's the biggest thing, and to do that while still having their own, you know, flair of creativity from Toys for Bob, that is hugely important, because you don't want them to just be a cosplay version of, you know, of Crash Bandicoot. Like, it's not like you want to see, you know, them just sort of do an emulation and not have any of their original ideas or anything like that, and just be like, what would Naughty Dog want? This does not feel like necessarily what would Naughty Dog want. This feels like a genuine continuation of the series in a way that, you know, pays homage to its past while also bringing it into the next generation. And calling it Crash 4 is just very, very, very ambitious and very borderline risky, because you got a lot of people ready to kind of jump down their throats for that, being like, well, what about Crash Wrath of Cortex? But as I said, I think they're going to acknowledge that quite a bit. So it's safe to say this is something from a pretty early cutscene, or maybe even the very first cutscene, with something going on. You know, you're seeing these different worlds. Are these part of the regular worlds, like, or are these part of the next, you know, like the kind of after the whatever the quote-unquote event is? That looks like an interpretation of Cortex Castle, but it may not be. I mean, the bats and stuff like that. This is, of course, like, kind of reminds me of Engine Labs, so we could be getting these new interpretations of these levels. The level design, though, as I keep saying, there's so much detail. It reminds me a lot of Nitro Fueled, and that Nitro Fueled had so much stuff going on in the background, which was, like, actually impressive. Cortex's new design is actually really good. This thing here, I'm just going to let that play out, because you can see a bit of all these different worlds. You see there's a little like a snow world in there as well. And I'm just never, this has been, you know, for me, since I've been like truly excited about a new Crash game, it really has been like 22, maybe 19 years. I mean, actually, I was pretty excited for Twinsanity. So really, it's been since Twinsanity. And, you know, when I look at like this Tarzan kind of stuff like that, like, you know, riding on the vines, like this is the kind of Crash Bandicoot that is truly, genuinely equipped for the modern day. You see that we're in some kind of town here, so it's even more detailed than like Hang 8 and everything like that. Someone mentioned in some leaks some like pirate themed stuff, that was apparently one of the features of this game, and you do actually see that a lot. These new masks, by the way, as I keep saying, as I'm praising everything, is a true game changer, in that it seems like the way that their abilities are applied is going to be really natural in the gameplay. Of course, the new boxes as well really hit nicely, like they feel proper. And being able to play in these different skins, like whether you're able to have these different skins in other levels, it seems like that's the case. You see Crash has the mask on here. What that actually does yet, I believe, is like some kind of slowdown feature. I've got another video coming out with some B-roll footage as well. This new world, like, and this one here, like that's like, it's, what is that in the background? Wait a minute. Sorry, I need to go back there, because I'm seeing this like guy, like, these guys are juggling their own freaking hat, like their own heads. And then also you can see this like sort of guy in the background, almost looks like a skull, like a circus kind of level. That is blowing my mind. But what's really blowing my mind as well is, look at that. It looks like this almost, it's like, if you look to the left, it doesn't look like it's underwater. but it feels like it's underwater because it's like there's all these trees, like an underwater tree, you know. This is CrystalFissure analysis, guys. Of course, we have a looks like a return to the primitive era, you know, where we may have seen Boneyard and similar levels in Crash 3. Of course, this is a sequel to Crash 3, so you know, who knows how they're going to be connecting to some of that whole time twister stuff. And the real question is as well, will we be seeing Dr. Entropy, Mr. Entropy? What will he be, what will his involvement be in the game? I believe they're keeping a lot secret for a reason. This Cortex gameplay as well, where you basically build your own platforms to jump over the levels. By the way, I can't help but think that those levels there, these Cortex ones, are almost like an homage to the original Cerny concept, you know, with the lava levels that was originally made as like a tech demo. And then continuing on, we have Coco here in this beautiful world. Look, it's a cafe in the background. Aku in the background as well. Look to your left, CTR reference as well. What is going on in this world? Japanese text and kind of gibberish, you know, robotic alien Jack-esque text in the background. But yeah, you definitely feeling the Japanese high-tech influence in the background as well, with the, that looks like katakana and a bit of kanji in there as well. It's about new insanity. They want to push that onto people. I think the big thing about the marketing as well, as we see Engine, is making sure people know this is a new experience. This is not a rehash, this is not a remake. We are finally here with a new experience. That's important because a lot of people probably think, oh, you know, like Crash, yeah, it's just like I remember playing that as a kid. We have Engine, who is apparently now a big rocker. I mean, look, congratulations to him. What level is this as well? How many levels, and how many levels have we actually seen? Is it like 5 levels? You know, is it 10 levels? I don't know. Like, how many of these are connected? How long are the levels going to be? We're left with more questions than answers, but considering the release date of October the 2nd, guys, think about how close that is. Think about how close we are to actually getting this experience. The COVID delays, you know, hey, it sucks sometimes, but this is like the saving grace, I guess. Again, another pirate theme there. This kind of guy is just, what in the heck is going on here? Like, it's like a chase sequence, but it's so good. It's so good. It reminds me again of Crash 4 when you're running away from Crunch. That's what it reminds me of. And I love this mask, how he appears to be like our friend. Almost seeing him more than Aku. Now guys, I'm going to wrap it up there because we've been talking for 12 minutes. This has been basically almost a one-take video. I wanted to kind of get my first impressions while trying to analyze as much as I can, but I know that there is so much more to talk about. And you know what? I will talk about it. I promise to you I will talk about it. There is so much more. Stay tuned for the next video that is going to go up, or it should be up maybe at the same time, of the B-roll, looking at a bit more detail at the gameplay. Thank you so much for the support, guys. You know this means the world. We are finally getting a new Crash game. Thank you, guys. Goodbye.